My dog started growling at my wife every time she entered our bedroom. This was Max, my golden retriever. The gentlest soul who'd never growled at anyone in 8 years. But for 3 weeks straight, he'd position himself between me and Jennifer. Teeth bared, hackles raised, protecting me from my own wife. I thought he was sick, losing his mind, going senile. Until the day I pretended to be asleep and heard everything. My name is David. I'm 36 years old. Married to Jennifer for 7 years. We have a 5-year-old daughter named Sophie. I'm a software engineer working from home. Jennifer's a marketing executive who travels twice a month. From the outside, we had the perfect life. Max came into our lives 8 years ago, right before Jennifer and I got engaged. I found him at a shelter, 3 months old, abandoned in a box. The shelter said someone just didn't want him. I wanted him immediately. Jennifer wasn't thrilled, said she didn't like dogs. Too messy. But she agreed because she saw how happy he made me. Max grew into the most loyal companion I'd ever known. He slept at the foot of our bed every night, followed me everywhere. When Sophie was born, he became her protector. He'd lay beside her crib for hours, let her pull his ears without ever snapping. He was family. Jennifer tolerated him. She'd complained about dog hair, about the cost of his food, about walks when she was tired. I handled everything, all his care. I never asked her to do anything for Max because I knew she wouldn't. 3 weeks ago, everything changed. Jennifer came home early from a business trip. I heard her come upstairs. Then I heard Max. This low, rumbling growl I'd never heard before. Max was standing in our bedroom doorway, staring at Jennifer, growling like she was a threat. Jennifer laughed it off, said he was probably startled. I pulled Max away, gave him treats, checked him over. He seemed fine, until Jennifer approached again. Then the growling started. It happened every single time. Jennifer would walk toward our bedroom. Max would block the doorway, growl, bark. I took him to the vet. Full examination, blood tests. The vet said he was perfectly healthy. No signs of illness. Maybe he was reacting to a change in Jennifer's perfume. The vet suggested it would pass. It didn't pass. It got worse. Max started following Jennifer everywhere. Not friendly. Watching. Suspicious. Alert. Like he was monitoring her. Jennifer started complaining. Said Max was making her uncomfortable. That he was aggressive. That maybe we should rehome him. Rehome Max. My dog of 8 years. No. Absolutely not. Jennifer changed tactics. Started being nice to Max. Giving treats. Talking sweetly. It seemed to work. He'd take the treats. But when she'd reach to pet him, he'd back away. Ears flat. Tail down. Afraid. Max wasn't afraid of anything. Thunder. Fireworks. Strangers. Nothing. But my wife suddenly terrified him. 2 weeks ago, I came home from groceries. The house was quiet. Sophie was at her grandmother's. Jennifer's car was in the driveway. I called out. No answer. Found Max in our bedroom. Pacing, whining. Scratching at the closet door. I opened it. Jennifer was inside. Going through my things. She jumped. Laughed. Said she was organizing. Looking for tax documents. Max never left my side that night. When we went to bed, he didn't sleep at the foot like usual. He slept right between me and Jennifer. Taking up the whole middle. Jennifer was annoyed. Pushed him. He growled. She gave up. The next morning, Jennifer said we needed to talk about Max. His behavior was unacceptable. She felt unsafe. Either he needed training or other options. I said I'd look into trainers. I called 3 trainers. They all said the same thing. Dogs don't become aggressive without reason. They're reacting to something. A threat they perceive. One trainer said, dogs can sense things humans miss. Changes in behavior. Changes in intent. If Max was protecting me from Jennifer, maybe there was a reason. That made me think. What could Max be sensing? Jennifer seemed the same. Same routines. Except she'd been traveling more. 3 trips last month instead of 2. Staying late at the office. Coming home tired. Distant. I figured it was work stress. She was up for a promotion. 10 days ago, Jennifer left her phone on the kitchen counter. She was in the shower. It buzzed. I glanced at it. A text from Marcus. The preview said, "Can't wait to see you again." I stared at that text. Who was Marcus? Why couldn't he wait to see my wife again? I didn't open her phone. But I couldn't stop thinking about it. I started paying attention. Jennifer's trips. Her late nights. Her phone. Always face down. Password protected. Taken everywhere. Bathroom. Shower. Never left alone. I told myself I was paranoid, that Max's behavior was making me suspicious. But the doubt was there. A week ago, Jennifer announced another trip. Chicago. 3 days. Thursday to Sunday. She kissed Sophie goodbye. Barely looked at me. Left. That Thursday night, I couldn't sleep. At 2 a.m., I took Max for a long walk. When we got back, I sat on the couch, opened my laptop. I pulled up Jennifer's social media. She'd posted a photo yesterday. At a restaurant in Denver. Not Chicago. Denver. The geotag said Denver. My stomach dropped. I checked the timestamp 6 p.m. yesterday. She'd left Thursday morning for Chicago. But she was in Denver at 6 p.m. I zoomed in on the photo. She was sitting across from someone. The person was mostly cropped out, but I could see a man's hand. A watch. A ring. Not a wedding ring. Not my hand. I sat there staring at that photo until the sun came up. Max never left my side. At 7 a.m., I called her mother. Asked if she'd heard from Jennifer. Where was she staying in Chicago? Her mother said, the Marriott downtown. Gave me the exact address. I thanked her. Hung up, called the Marriott. Asked to be connected to Jennifer Thompson's room. The front desk said they had no one by that name checked in. I tried her maiden name. Still, nothing. She wasn't in Chicago. She'd never been in Chicago. She was in Denver, with someone named Marcus. At a restaurant. Posting photos. While I was home with our daughter and my dog, who'd been trying to warn me for 3 weeks. I spent that day in a fog. Took care of Sophie. Played with her. Fed her. Put her to bed. Went through the motions. Max stayed close. So close, I kept tripping over him. That night, I made a decision. I needed to know. I couldn't live with the doubt. I needed proof. Friday morning, I dropped Sophie at preschool. Came home, opened Jennifer's laptop. She'd left it at home. Said she only needed her tablet for the trip. I knew her password. We'd always shared passwords for emergencies. I opened her email. Started reading. There were hundreds of emails. From Marcus going back 6 months. They'd met at a work conference. Hit it off immediately. Started messaging. Then meeting. Coffee turned into lunch. Lunch turned into dinner. Dinner turned into hotel rooms. For 6 months, my wife had been having an affair. And I'd had no idea. The emails were explicit. Detailed. Plans for their future. How they'd wait until after her promotion. Then she'd ask for a divorce. Marcus would leave his wife. Yes, Marcus was married too. They'd start fresh. Together. Maybe move to California. Fresh start for both of them. I read every single email. Every text I could find. 6 months of lies. 6 months of business trips that weren't business trips. Late nights at the office that weren't at the office. I threw up twice reading those messages. Max sat in the bathroom with me. Rested his head on my knee. Like he understood. That's when it clicked. 3 weeks ago. That's when Max started acting strange. 3 weeks ago was when Jennifer came home from her business trip early. The trip where she probably saw Marcus. And she'd brought something back with her. Some scent. Some evidence. Some trace of betrayal that Max could smell. Dogs can detect chemical changes in humans. Stress. Fear. Guilt. Max had smelled the affair on her. And he'd been trying to tell me ever since. I sat on the bathroom floor with Max for hours. Trying to process. Trying to plan. Jennifer would be home Sunday. I had 2 days to decide what to do. I could confront her. Scream. Yell. Throw her out. Or I could be smart. Document everything. Prepare. Protect Sophie. Protect myself. I chose smart. I forwarded all the emails to myself. Took screenshots of everything. Text messages. Photos. Travel records. I found receipts for hotels. For dinners. For gifts she'd bought Marcus. Gifts she'd paid for with our joint credit card. My money. Buying presents for her lover. Saturday, I called a divorce attorney. Explained everything. She said I had a strong case. Infidelity. Misuse of joint funds. She could help me file. Protect my rights. Make sure I got custody of Sophie. I scheduled an appointment for Monday. Sunday afternoon, Jennifer came home. Bright, happy. Tan, she'd been somewhere sunny. Not Chicago. Definitely not Chicago. She hugged Sophie. Ignored Max. Barely acknowledged me. Said she was exhausted. Needed a shower. Needed to unpack. I waited until Sophie was in bed. Then I sat Jennifer down in the living room. Max immediately positioned himself between us. She rolled her eyes. Asked if we were really going to have the dog discussion again. I said no. We were going to have the Marcus discussion. Her face went white. Actually white. Like all the blood drained out. She stammered. Asked what I meant. Who was Marcus? I pulled out my phone. Started reading her emails. Out loud, every detail. Every plan. Every lie. She tried to interrupt. I kept reading. 5 minutes of her own words. Her own betrayal. In her own voice. Via my voice. When I finished, she cried. Not sad crying. Panic crying. She said it wasn't what it looked like. That Marcus was just a friend. That the emails were taken out of context. I asked her to explain the context of "I can't wait to leave him, and we'll be together soon, and last night was incredible." She couldn't. She sat there crying. Making excuses. None of them made sense. I told her I'd filed for divorce. That I had copies of everything. That my attorney said I'd get primary custody of Sophie, based on her affair and financial misconduct. That she could stay somewhere else tonight. I'd already packed her a bag. It was by the door. She needed to leave. She went from crying to angry in seconds. Said I couldn't kick her out of her own house. That she'd fight me. That she'd tell everyone I was crazy. That I was believing a dog over my own wife. That Max had poisoned me against her. I almost laughed. Max hadn't poisoned anything. He'd just been the only one honest enough to show me the truth. Jennifer grabbed her bag, slammed the door, peeled out of the driveway. Max immediately relaxed. His whole body. The tension I didn't even realize he'd been carrying for weeks just melted. He wagged his tail, licked my hand, like he was saying finally. Finally you understand. That night, Sophie asked where Mummy was. I told her Mummy had to go on another work trip. She'd be gone for a while. Sophie shrugged, said okay. Asked if Max could sleep in her room. I said yes. They both fell asleep within minutes. Max curled up at the foot of her bed, protecting her, like he'd been protecting me. The divorce took 4 months. Jennifer fought everything. Tried to claim I was mentally unstable. That I'd turned our daughter against her. That I'd misread innocent emails between co-workers. But Marcus's wife found out around the same time I did. She filed for divorce too. Provided her own evidence. When the judge saw both cases, with matching timelines and corroborating evidence, Jennifer's lies fell apart. I got primary custody. Jennifer got every other weekend and Wednesday dinners. She also got to pay child support, because my attorney proved she'd spent over $15,000 of our joint funds on her. Affair, hotels, dinners, gifts, all on our credit card. The judge was not impressed. Max was there for all of it. Every court date. Every bad day. Every moment I wanted to give up. He'd rest his head on my lap. Remind me why I was fighting. For Sophie. For us. For the truth. Today, Sophie is 6. Happy, thriving. She doesn't fully understand why Mummy doesn't live with us anymore. But she's adjusted. She knows Max is her best friend. That he'll always protect her. That he's the goodest boy in the whole world. Jennifer's relationship with Marcus ended 3 months after our divorce was finalized. Turns out, he didn't actually want to leave his wife. He'd been stringing Jennifer along the whole time. She moved to Phoenix. Started over. We barely communicate, except about Sophie's schedule. Max is 9 now. Still healthy. Still loyal. Still the best decision I ever made. People ask me how I knew to trust him over my wife. I tell them I didn't. Not at first. But dogs don't lie. Dogs don't cheat. Dogs don't pretend. When Max growled at Jennifer, he wasn't being aggressive. He was being honest. He smelled the betrayal. He sensed the danger. He tried to warn me in the only way he knew how. I almost ignored him. Almost convinced myself he was sick, senile, wrong. Thank God I didn't. Thank God I paid attention. Thank God I had a golden retriever who loved me enough to risk everything to show me the truth. Last month, I started dating again. Her name's Rachel. She's a veterinarian. She came to the house for our first date. Max greeted her at the door. Tail wagging. Whole body wiggling with joy. He rolled over for belly rubs within 5 minutes. Sophie laughed and said Max really likes her. I said that's a good sign. Rachel asked why. I told her I trust Max's judgment completely. Rachel and I have been seeing each other for 6 weeks now. It's slow, careful, but it feels right. Max adores her. Sophie likes her. That's enough for me. I'm not rushing anything. I'm just grateful. Grateful for second chances. Grateful for my daughter. Grateful for the dog who saved my life by revealing who my family really was. People say dogs are man's best friend. That's not quite right. Dogs are man's most honest friend. They don't play games. Don't keep secrets. Don't lie about where they've been, or who they've been with. When your dog growls at someone you love, maybe don't dismiss it. Maybe listen. Maybe investigate. Because sometimes, your dog knows something you don't. Sometimes, your dog is the only one telling you the truth. Max saved me from years of lies. From a marriage built on betrayal. From a woman who loved someone else while pretending to love me. He didn't do it with words. He did it with growls and body blocks, and 3 weeks of unwavering protection. I owe him everything. My happiness, my truth, my future. And I make sure he knows it every single day. Extra treats, extra walks, extra belly rubs. He's not just a pet. He's not just a dog. He's family, real family. The kind that shows up. The kind that protects you. The kind that tells you the truth even when it's hard to hear. That's the day my dog revealed who my family really was. Not just who Jennifer was, but who I could count on. Who would stand by me. Who truly loved me. Turns out, it was a golden retriever, and a 5-year-old girl. And eventually, a veterinarian, who thinks Max is the smartest dog she's ever met. She's right. He is.